Buddha attained enlightenment. Jesus spoke of a love that transforms everything it touches. Eckhart Tolle woke up overnight, on a park bench in despair, and was never the same again. Thousands of years, hundreds of teachers, mystics, saints, sages, and not one of them explained how. Not step by step, not the mechanism, not the answer to the question that has haunted every serious seeker. Why does it happen to some people in an instant, and others meditate for 30 years and feel nothing shift? I have an answer to that question. It is not philosophical, it is not religious, it is not poetic, it is a formula. E equals H times L squared. Today I will explain what that means, and why it may change everything you have understood about awakening. It was April 1991. I was 26 years old. Every morning I woke with a weight in my chest, a tightening, heavy. Each day I left the house in a kind of quiet terror, looking over my shoulder, barely breathing. This was not ordinary anxiety. This was existential fear, the kind that grips you by the throat, empties your thoughts and leaves only one impulse: escape. Outwardly, I appeared the same. Inside, I was dissolving. Days stretched. I lay still and tried to think my way out. But there was no way out through thought. Every door I pushed led back to the same room. And then, in the middle of the night, I could no longer say whether I was asleep or awake. Something became clear. I cannot fight this fear, but perhaps I can neutralize it with its opposite: love. Not the love of films, not romantic love, not love directed at anyone in particular. Something purer, an energy without conditions, radiating outward from the chest, toward everything, toward people I knew, toward people I feared, toward the world itself. I began to feel a warmth moving outward from my heart, gentle, steady, toward everyone, even those I had seen as enemies. I practiced this for about a week, and then I forgot about it entirely. The next day, the world changed. Music on the radio arrived as though composed for exactly what I was thinking. People appeared who seemed to have stepped out of my imagination. Situations resolved with an uncanny precision. I had been born into a different world, without a trace of fear. Everything soft, everything flowing, as though life itself was smiling back. At the time, I did not understand what had happened. It took me 30 years to understand the mechanism, and when I finally did, I wrote a book. So what happened that night in April? The answer is in the formula: E equals H times L squared. Let me take each part slowly. H, the heart in compression, the heart squeezed by fear. H is the state I was in that April: total compression, existential fear, no apparent exit. And here is what every spiritual tradition failed to understand. Most teachers said, remove the fear, calm yourself, achieve inner peace through practice, then love will follow. But that never worked, not for most people. Because fear cannot simply be removed. Fear is a survival mechanism, ancient, biological, encoded deep in the structure of what we are. The formula says something different. Fear is not the obstacle. Fear is the door. When the heart is in compression, in extreme distress, illness, loss, terror, the defenses of the ego soften. The walls it builds to protect you crack open, just for a moment. And in that moment, you are most vulnerable. And precisely because of that, you have the deepest access to what lies beneath the ego, to the subconscious, to the field, to the real self. L squared, love squared. But an open door alone is not enough. Through that open door, you must consciously introduce the right energy. That energy is love, not as an emotion, not as a thought, as a deliberate radiation from the heart. Why squared? Because this is not linear energy. When you consciously radiate love from a heart already in the state of H, in genuine compression, an explosion occurs. Not addition, multiplication. As in physics, a small spark meeting the right fuel at the right moment does not produce a small flame. It produces an explosion. H is the fuel. L squared is the spark. E is the explosion. E, enlightenment. Enlightenment is not a special state reserved for the chosen few. It is not a reward after 20 years of practice. It is not a privilege of mystics. It is the result of a formula, one that anyone is capable of activating. Jesus on the cross, heart in its greatest compression, and from it, love, for everyone, even for those who put him there. Buddha beneath the tree, facing the full weight of suffering, and from it, compassion without limit. Every great mystic across every tradition, in the moment of darkness, fear, the abyss, became light. They all lived the formula. None of them wrote it down. Why then have millions meditated for years and not experienced the breakthrough? Because they tried to skip H. Meditation in a peaceful heart is beautiful, but without H, without the compression, the door is not open. You enter a quiet room, but you do not go deeper. Affirmations, repeating positive thoughts. Again, without H, this remains only in consciousness. The subconscious is untouched. Following a teacher, surrendering to a system. This is an external channel of trust, but it does not activate your own field. What was missing in all of them was the spark, that moment. When the heart is in compression, and instead of collapsing, you consciously radiate love outward. This is why every mystical tradition spoke of breaking through suffering, why every tradition described a dark night of the soul, why Jesus spoke of carrying a cross. They were not encouraging suffering. They were describing the mechanism. They simply had no mathematical language for it. And now, the reason I wrote the book, not the theory, the practice. Step 1. Recognize H. When you are in distress, do not run, do not rationalize, do not reach for a distraction. Simply recognize, I am here. My heart is in compression. This is H. That recognition alone is already a movement. Step 2. Breathe into the heart. A slow breath into the chest. A slow exhale. Not breathing to calm down, breathing to become present in the heart. Step 3. Radiate love consciously. Do not force it. Do not perform it. Simply allow a warmth to begin moving outward from the chest, toward everyone, toward those you love, toward those you cannot stand, toward the world. You do not think about this. You feel it. Step 4. Observe. Expect nothing. Simply observe what happens in the body, in the mind, in the space around you. There is no guarantee the breakthrough will happen the first time, or the second, or the 10th. But every person who has practiced this sincerely, not as an exercise but as a necessity, has experienced a shift, small or large, because the formula works. Not because it is beautiful, because it is true. What I have shared today is the heart of a book I spent 30 years arriving at. Its name is E equals H times L squared. I carried the experience of April 1991 for 3 decades without understanding its mechanism. It was only during the pandemic, studying how mass suggestion works, that I finally understood what happened to me that night. Fear softened the ego's defenses. Love did the rest. This book is not for everyone. It is for those already on the path. Those who have read Tolle, Dispenza, Krishnamurti, who have meditated, questioned, searched, and who, despite everything, still feel that something essential is missing. If that is you, the link is below. And the next time life compresses you, in fear, in loss, in the dark, do not flee that moment. Stay in it, breathe, and let love radiate from that same frightened heart. Perhaps that is exactly where the door is.